Hey, this is Orrin Hughes at ONC Family Nursery, and today I want to show you how I prune apple trees. So this is another common question we get at the nursery. How do I prune my tree when I get it in? And so let me show you how I would go ahead and plant our apple trees in our orchard. If you look here at the ground, you can see where the graft point is. You want to always make sure that your graft point is sticking up out of the ground a couple inches. It's a little low in the pot. When I go to pull it out, I will make sure that it's up a little bit because I don't want to get any buds growing from the rootstock. The rootstock is there purely to give me the characteristics I want for disease resistance and for growth habits, but I don't want it to take off in its own tree. So you want to keep it up out of the ground. Next thing I'm looking at is height on my tree. Because we use a riding mower in our orchard, I want to make sure that my branch height is high enough that I can get up closely around the tree without having the danger of snapping off branches. I like 30 to 36 inches, and so if I'm looking at this as my ground height and I come up, I'm happy with the height that this is starting to branch out at. So what I'm looking for now, when I prune my apple trees, what I'm looking for is I want to design a perfect kid climbing tree. And by that what I mean is I want to come up here and I want to have that 3 to 4 branches that are going out, and they are going to form my first scaffold branch set. And so as I look at this tree, I want to have them, they need to be spaced a little bit apart on the center trunk or the central leader, and I want them to be kind of facing the different sides of the compass. So 3 to 5 is what I would look for. In this guy, what I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that I'm happy with. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to prune this bottom guy off. I'm going to take a couple of these little bud sets that are going to be ready to start. And now what I've got a tree that is going to be shaped a lot like what I want. Keep in mind, these trees are very moldable at this point. So one of the things that I'll do in my orchard is I will actually pull some of these branches down a little bit. If I hold them in the shape that I like, whether I use a clothespin that is pressing up here and then holding this down, or whether I use weights, or whether I tie it down to a stake, what's going to happen is 1 year's worth of growth rings will hold this guy in this shape for the rest of his life. And so I will, I've got these branches and I like them, but I would rather that they were coming out just a little bit more. So what I will do is when I put this guy in the ground in my orchard, I will shape him the way I want him shaped. Now, what I want to do is I want to come up here another couple of feet, and I want to do this again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to the top of the tree where I want my next set of scaffold branches to come in, and I'm going to actually prune it back. What that does is this next 4 to 6 inches, it's going to flush the growth on those, and all of these buds are going to come and start as little branches. And what I'll do is this coming winter, when the tree is dormant, I'll come in and I'll pick through these branches that start this year, and I will pick the next 3 to 5, whichever I want, and I will use those for my next set of scaffold branches, and I'm going to encourage one bud to go straight up and form my central leader again. And I'm going to do this a third time before I will actually cut this tree off, and I want to hold it down to a height that I can pick easily from a short ladder. And so I'll end up on my trees, I like to do 3 sets of scaffold branches on my apple trees. And it's pretty simple. When you get to it, that's about all it takes. The only other thing that I would do in this tree is I want this tree to maintain its top dominance. And so if you have a branch that is competing with the top of your central leader, you can have issues with growth. So what I'm going to do here on this guy is I'm actually going to prune him to an out-facing bud so that he is brought down to about the level of these other guys. This one's a little smaller, but he'll catch up this year. And then this one, I'm going to prune him just a little bit to an out-facing bud as well. So I'm helping to shape the direction that this tree is going to grow. And then I'm going to allow this guy to start up again up top. And we're going to end up with a beautiful, beautiful apple tree that in a few years we will be getting lots of good eating apples and cider from. So if you need an apple tree, come down and see us at ONC Family Nursery. We'd love to see you.